Now we're going to begin our look at Unit 2, Practical Economics, how it works for you. In this unit, you'll find out how basic economic principles can help you in your daily life, what pitfalls to avoid when going into debt, what you should be aware of before buying a vehicle or a house, and why saving and investing are sound economic habits to learn. The 4 chapters in Unit 2 address how economic theory applies to everyday buying and budgeting. Chapter 3 explains disposable and discretionary income, the role of advertising and consumer rights. Chapter 4 explains what causes families to go into debt and how to manage debt wisely. Chapter 5 discusses responsible budgeting for food, clothing, housing, and transportation. And Chapter 6 describes options for saving and investing. Our unit objectives. After studying this unit, you will be able to evaluate the individual role of the consumer. You'll be able to analyze buying decisions, understand how to balance a budget, and learn the value of saving and investing money. Chapter 3, Your Role as a Consumer. Why it's important. If you are thinking about buying a computer, should you visit every computer store in the area? What should you do if your purchase is defective? This chapter will help you learn to make rational consumer choices. Chapter 3 explains the difference between disposable and discretionary income and examines how each is spent, explores the role of advertising, and reviews the rights and responsibilities of consumers. Section 1 explains the difference between disposable and discretionary income and describes the 5 considerations in consumer decision making. You and everyone around you are consumers and as such play an important role in the economic system. A consumer is any person or group that buys or uses goods and services to satisfy personal needs and wants. Consumers buy a wide variety of things: food, clothing, automobiles, movie tickets, and veterinary care. In this section, you'll learn how to spend or not spend your income wisely. For most of the 20th century, athletes were not paid the millions of dollars that seem so commonplace today. In fact, many players took a second job during their off-season so that they could pay their bills. Yankees ball players Phil Rizzuto and Yogi Berra even opened a men's clothing store. Would you be more likely to visit a store owned by a famous celebrity than one owned by a non-celebrity? Would you be willing to pay 10% more for an item in the celebrity's store? The ability to consume depends on a person's available income, how much of it is spent or saved. Disposable income is money that is left after paying all taxes, whereas discretionary income is money that is left after paying for necessities or money that can be spent on luxury items or be saved. So an example of this is that when we talk about disposable income, you can almost think of that in essence as your take-home pay. After you deduct out the taxes, that's what you have left. But out of that money, you're probably going to have some bills to pay. Especially, as an adult, you'll probably have a mortgage payment, car payment, food, clothing, utility bills, basic necessities that have to be paid for. So discretionary income is the money you have left over after you've paid all of your bills. And so, it's a narrower definition than disposable income. Education, occupation, experience, health, location, and wages can all influence a person's ability to consume. Spending income requires constant decision making.
The Department of Labor provides a detailed look at how U.S. consumers spend their income. Who is the average American consumer? Well, they look a lot like Avery. He's 49 years old, creeping up on 50. Owns his home and brings in a little over $40,000 a year. Where does Avery spend the money he works so hard for? Take a look. 26.5% is walled up in housing. 8% goes toward insurance assurance. 2.7% gets dressed up in clothing and other services. 12.3% speeds away for transportation. 3.4% is guzzled up by gas. 9.8% gets chomped away for food. 4% is dazzled away by entertainment. 5% is injected into healthcare. The rest? Miscellaneous stuff. And that is how average Avery spent his paycheck. How do you spend yours?